Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Backlash review for the 2022 edition. Obviously, WWE is not my favorite product in 2022, and it shouldn't be anyone's who has even remotely a common sense approach to life, wrestling, or anything else. But anyway, um, for those that are into what they produce, this is a perfectly fine premium event, as they call it, for those that actually have some semblance of standards. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an interesting run to kind of look at. Is a lot of this stuff worth it? And also, does WWE have anything that really has a long term build to it? There's two or three matches on here that are good. The rest you could probably throw away, and a lot of things there. So the pre-show is match free. So ultimately, I mean, why even have one if you're going to just do that? Anyway, Cody Rhodes defeats Seth Rollins twice in a row on major shows. Decent enough match, 20 minutes, 45 seconds. They do have a good rematch. They show a video package before because why not kill time and waste people's time? Anyway, fans sing Rollins' music before he entered. They break into Cody chants before his music plays. Story of the match is pretty simple. Seth is more prepared for Cody than the other way around, mainly because of the previous match between the two. Rollins goes into a back suplex. Rhodes slips out and ducks down, but Rollins then blocks the punch. Rhodes then goes for a scoop slam, but Rollins avoids it. Rollins then takes over after nailing Rhodes with a clothesline at ringside. Rhodes then fights back, drops down, hits a punch, and then follows up with a disaster kick. Rollins then sends Rhodes into the corner. Rhodes then counters with a sunset flip, but Rollins then heads to the ropes for a 2 count. Rhodes then regains control and gives Rollins a superplex. They then trade hard chops and strikes along the way. Rhodes then goes up the corner, hits crossbody to the floor. Rollins avoids that, goes for a suicide dive of his own, but Rhodes cuts him off. Rhodes then hits a cutter and gets a near fall. Rollins then comes back and goes for pedigree. Rhodes then escapes, but Rollins hits a super kick for another near fall. Rollins then goes for the stomp. Rhodes then moves and attempts at the crossroads, but Rollins then escapes. Rhodes then goes for the pedigree in trying to cut this all off. Rollins then hits a forearm and goes to the back of the head, follows up with a Falcon Arrow for near fall. Rhodes goes for disaster kick again, and Rollins catches him with a buckle bomb and then follows up with a frog splash. Near fall, Rollins then comes back with the Phoenix splash, but Rhodes moves out of the way. Rollins then lands on his feet, but Rhodes then responds with a super kick. Um, Rollins then recovers and hits a superplex into a attempted Falcon Arrow, but Cody escapes crossroads. But then Rollins gets his foot on the bottom rope. Rhodes then misses a moonsault. Rollins comes back with pedigree for near fall. Don't know why they're letting Rhodes use the pedigree. Just kind of dumb there. Anyway, Dusty Rhodes flip flop and fly. Rhodes then counters into the crossroads. Rollins escapes. Rhodes then attempts a vertebreaker, but Rollins slips out of that as well. Rollins then catches Rhodes with an O'Connor roll. Holding onto the tights, Rhodes reverses and pins Rollins, holding the tights for the win. Almost with MVP defeats Bobby Lashley 850, or actually I think it's closer to 950, but anyway, Lashley and Almost have a match that kills time. Obviously, they're going to have a tough time, managing to follow the opening match of the show, but they obviously are on a little bit of different pages at times here and there. Lashley Backs almost against the ropes, but MVP causes distractions almost, then takes advantage and rocks Lashley with a boot and then boot to the face. Lashley then fights back, almost tosses him at ringside. Back in the ring, almost gives Lashley a snake eyes onto the turnbuckle and follows up with another big boot to the face. He then picks up Lashley and then manages to get things again. He then slips out and seems to be there on different pages for a little bit here. Lashley then goes into control and ties almost in the ropes. MVP then tries to break almost free, but Lashley chases him away, gets caught in the hurt lock. MVP gets caught in the hurt lock, almost breaks that up. Lashley then applies the hurt lock on almost. He then almost has him in control and recovers and breaks free. Lashley nails almost with boots to the face and attempted suplexes. Almost then escapes, but Lashley chases him out, and there we go. They then apply the hurt lock on almost, and he's almost out, but he recovers and breaks free again. Lashley nails almost with boots to the face and attempts a suplex. Almost escapes, but Lashley hits a spine buster. Fans pop for the spine buster. Almost then sends Lashley into the ring post and argues with the referee. MVP hits Lashley with the cane and almost street slam for the win. Edge versus AJ Styles 15-24. They have a good match. They start slow but pick up in the second half. Rhea Ripley joins Judgment Day after helping Edge win. Commentators note that Styles is at a disadvantage because his shoulder is injured coming into the match. They run at each other during the early stages. Edge goes head off into the announce table, follows up with a sliding drop kick and an Osai moonsault, then hits the phenomenal forearm. Edge cuts him off. Edge then slows the pace down with a shoulder lock, and Styles breaks free, hits a Pele kick, and then fights off the top turnbuckle until Styles hits the Rana for another near fall. Styles works over Edge's leg and chops down. Edge fights back and goes for another shoulder tackle again. Styles then recovers and locks on the calf crusher, but Edge breaks free. Edge then grabs the middle turnbuckle and rips Styles, giving him a German suplex. Edge then misses a spear and hits a middle turnbuckle maneuver. Styles then comes up for 2 count. Edge regains control and speared Styles for a near fall. Styles then fights back and hits Styles Crash for a close near fall of his own. Styles can't do the phenomenal forearm because of his injured shoulder. He climbs the top rope, but Damian Priest walks down the aisle. Priest points out that he's in the aisle and not at ringside, which Finn Balor runs down, attacks Priest. Styles comes out and then goes after the corner. Then we see going to the other side. Person in a hood jumps the apron. That ends up being Rhea Ripley. Styles catches Edge catches Styles with the crossface, and there's a pass out there. After the match, Saxton wants to know who the person was that interfered in the hood. It ends up being Rhea Ripley. Bianca Belair video package. I Quit match. Ronda Rousey and defeats Charlotte Flair to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Flair and Rousey have probably one of the better I Quit matches in a long while. They work hard and tell a decent story. Fans are into the match and acknowledge the finish. Another video package. Bell rings and they charge at each other. Rousey works over Flair's arm, goes for the Piper's Pit. Flair fights back. Flair hits a high-angle German suplex. Rousey lands on her head. Flair then backs Rousey against the barricade and nails her with some chops. Rousey then refuses to quit. Flair then pulls out the kendo stick from under the ring. Rousey grabs the kendo stick, so Flair ran from the back. She then returns with a couple of kendo sticks. Rousey grabs those sticks and beats Flair. Flair then wouldn't give up. Flair grabs the camera off the cameraman's shoulder, throws it at Rousey, but missed. Rousey and Flair brawled through the crowd. Flair takes over and throws a drink in Rousey's eyes. She then tossed Rousey into the hockey boards. Flair then wraps Rousey around the railing, but she refuses to quit. Flair then tries to hit Rousey with a chair. Rousey blocks that. There's tees of tables there. Flair takes over and gives her a powerbomb into the barricade. Rousey then goes for the Piper's Pit. Flair escapes, and then they go back to the "We Want Tables" chant. Flair hits natural selection on a chair back in the ring. Rousey refuses to quit. Flair locks on the figure eight, but Rousey breaks free. Flair grabs the mic and tells Rousey this is her last chance. She's wished Rousey a happy Mother's Day. And Rousey catches Flair in an armbar using the chair. Flair refused to give up. Rousey extended the arm until Flair finally screamed, "I quit," and that's that. They air a Money in the Bank commercial featuring Cody Rhodes. Maybe he wins the Money in the Bank and goes on to SummerSlam. Anyway, that would be predictable and boring. Madcap Moss defeats Happy Corbin, 9:39. Yes, this match is as bad as one would expect. They show a video package because they have to before every match these days. And then Moss has an early advantage until Corbin takes over with a chokeslam. Corbin then continues to beat down Moss and whips him into the corner. Corbin slows the pace down with a chin lock. Corbin then hits the around the ring post clothesline for near fall. Slams Moss into a senton for another near fall. Moss bounces off the ropes and knocks Corbin off to ringside. He tackles Corbin, throws him into the ring post. Moss then catches Corbin in a follow-away slam for near fall. Corbin goes to the deep six, gets a 2 count. Finish comes when Corbin goes around the ring post clothesline again, but Moss counters into a sunset flip for the win. Drew McIntyre video package. Then finally the main event. After recapping the Ronda win, Roman Reigns and the Usos with Paul Heyman defeat Drew McIntyre and RK Bro. Match starts slow. They recapped the angle between everybody involved. Cole points out that Reigns has been champion for 616 days. Fans break into a Roman chant, and then Jimmy backs Orton into the corner, and ultimately Orton breaks free, poking Jimmy in the eyes. McIntyre then tags and catches Jimmy with a belly-to-belly suplex. He then points out that Reigns, is ultimately there and manages to get into the ring. Heyman begs Reigns not to tag in because he's got nothing to prove. Reigns tags in. Fans pop for that. McIntyre and Reigns face off for another strong pop, and the heels take over, isolate Riddle on their side of the ring. Reigns then tags into where Riddle is in trouble. Riddle then tries to fight back, but Reigns rocks him with a back elbow, slamming down Riddle with the rock bottom for near fall. Jimmy misses a splash in the corner, but then Orton gets knocked off the apron with a super kick. Rikishi splash. Riddle counters with the knees. McIntyre and Reigns finally face off in the middle of the ring. McIntyre catches Reigns with a belly-to-belly suplex. He then takes out both the Usos with neck breakers. Reigns recovers. Superman punch for his trouble. Reigns teaches Orton and Riddle on, basically keeps them on top of the apron. He knocks Riddle down and celebrates. McIntyre takes advantage and hits the Claymore on Reigns. Orton and then gets a hot tag and runs wild. He then hits Power Slam on Reigns and a dripping DDT on Jimmy. Orton then tosses Jay to ringside. Reigns then tries to jump Orton, but hits the RKO for a massive pop. Orton then hit RKO on Jimmy, but Jay breaks up the pin attempt. Riddle then tagged in and gets his chance to run wild. Rocking Reigns with a knee and hits the Broton on Jay, and then follows up with the Floating Bro for near fall. Orton beats down Jay around ringside. Suddenly Reigns hits the Superman punch on Orton. McIntyre sends Reigns into the ring post. Clear at the announce table. Do a big pop. Fans have been dying for a table spot. Reigns then fights back and gives McIntyre the rock bottom. Through the table to the big pop. Riddle then takes out heels with crossbody. Jay recovers and hits a dive on Riddle. Back in the ring, Riddle and Jay trade knees and super kicks. Finish comes when Riddle hits an RKO on Jay from the top rope. Reigns then makes the blind tag and spears Riddle for the win. Bloodline celebrate, ending the Backlash show. What a stupid way to end the show when you have the women's title match, but who cares? Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.